Have you ever wondered if your words could truly make a difference? In a world where voices shout for attention, this is a story about the quiet power of kindness, the magic of empathy, and how one boy's simple letter changed a life forever. Get ready to be inspired by the seed of a word, a story that reminds us that sometimes the softest words echo the loudest. Stay until the end. You might just discover the power in your own voice. In a quiet town nestled between gentle hills and meandering rivers, lived a boy named Elias. He wasn't the loudest, the strongest, or the smartest in his school. In fact, Elias often went unnoticed, like a whisper in a crowded room. But Elias had one peculiar gift. He listened. Not just with his ears, but with his heart. Every day, Elias would sit under the old willow tree after school, scribbling in his notebook. He wrote what he heard, fragments of conversations, things people said in passing, stories told by strangers. To him, words were seeds. Some sprouted into beauty, others poisoned the soil. One rainy afternoon, a voice pierced his thoughts. "You're wasting your time," sneered Marcus, the school's star athlete. "Words don't matter, actions do." Then he laughed and jogged away, high-fiving his teammates. Elias didn't reply, but those words stung. That night, he stared at his notebook, wondering if Marcus was right. After all, what had his words ever changed? But life has a strange way of answering questions.
2 weeks later, something happened that would shape Elias forever. Miss Harrow, their English teacher, announced a class project. Write something that could change someone's life. It could be a letter, a poem, a story, anything. "We underestimate words," she said, tapping her chalk against the board. "But a single sentence can start a revolution." That night, Elias wrote a letter. It wasn't addressed to anyone in particular, just a message to a stranger, someone who might need it someday. He poured in all the words he wished he'd heard when he felt small, invisible, or not enough. "Dear you, I know life feels heavy. You wonder if you matter, if anyone sees you. But hear this. One quiet voice can echo across the world. You are not alone. Keep going. Your story is still being written." He submitted the letter anonymously, thinking little of it afterward. Weeks passed. Seasons changed. Life went on. Until one morning, Miss Harrow rushed into class, eyes gleaming. "I need to share something," she said, holding up a wrinkled piece of paper. It was Elias's letter. "This letter," she said, her voice trembling, "was found by a girl from the nearby school. She was about to do something terrible to herself. Then she found this tucked inside a library book. She's okay now. She asked me to thank whoever wrote it." The class was silent. Elias's heart pounded. He looked down, hiding the tears forming in his eyes. He never told anyone the letter was his. He didn't need to. Something far more powerful had bloomed in his chest, the quiet understanding that words, even anonymous ones, can save lives. Years later, Elias became a writer. His books weren't flashy bestsellers, but readers often wrote to him saying, "This story gave me hope," or "Your words helped me through a dark time." One day, after a book signing, a woman approached him. She had kind eyes and held a letter in her hand, old and faded. "You wrote this, didn't you?" she asked. Elias read it. It was his letter, the one he had forgotten. She continued, "I was that girl. I was ready to give up. Then I found this note. I never knew who wrote it, but it changed everything. I'm a therapist now. I help others find light too." Elias's throat tightened. "I never thought anyone would find it, but I did," she said. Because words always find who they are meant for. Words are never just words. They can wound or heal, destroy or build, isolate or unite. Most of all, they can transform. In a world where voices often shout for attention, the quiet ones, the thoughtful, the kind, the compassionate can still move mountains. Never underestimate the power of a kind word, an honest sentence, or a letter from the heart. You may never know the impact your words have on someone's life, but that doesn't mean they don't matter. Because somewhere, Someone is waiting for the right words. And maybe those words are yours.